Welcome to Fortune Cookies Tarot. I'm Annabelle. I'm a tarot practitioner for over 35 years. And in this video, we are going to be talking about the tariff war between Donald Trump and China. Let's go. All right, kids, I was supposed to drop this video on Wednesday, but I got hung up with taxes and crazy stuff here at home. Y'all know I was away last week, so I had a lot of mopping up I had to do. So let's get this one out so you guys can enjoy your World Politics Wednesday on a Thursday. So we're first going to talk about China's position on the whole tariffs and what their true intention is. We're going to blast this out. Hope you guys are having a great day. We've seen a subscriber bloom again after a subscriber drop off. So this is great. I'm glad to have some new people here. Got some weird comments. Not sure what to do about that. But, nonetheless, let's get going on this. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to bring that card view up and jump right into the cards at 1 minute 35 seconds. So here we go, kids. This is what you're waiting for. If you don't like political or world politics readings, you can jump off right now, but please don't, because I'm trying to give you guys a world view through the psychic scope. So what is the real state of China's trade strategy behind the scenes? So Trump had imposed a bunch of tariffs on all kinds of countries, what he described as reciprocal tariffs. In my opinion, and I said this on the channel a million times, I think he was trying to create negotiating strategy. At this point, I think I said 80 in the last video, but now we have about 70 countries that have come to the table to renegotiate those terms. He has held off on changing any tariff structures. I think it's like a 10% tariff for everybody. So it's actually beneficial for some of the countries that had higher tariffs. But China gave us a hard time. And so China now has 150% tariff structure on their goods. So what is the real state of China's trade strategy at this point? What do we see? We've got one in the middle, King of Wands. That's a very reactive kind of energy. And the Seven of Cups. They're going to create a kerfuffle. They're going to start to create some interesting things. Underneath the surface, they are using the information that they have, judgment in the past, in the reverse. This is, they're trying to maintain that structure that they had before, which Donald Trump did blame on former U.S. leaders, not on the other countries. So they want, to keep biting at that apple. Up top, world in reverse, they are going to say, we are done with this. We're not going to do it. We are a tremendous market for Chinese products. So saying we're done with this, we're not going to do it, is really going to be an interesting thing. Is it going to bring manufacturing back to the United States in a bold fashion? We will see, because that's one of the questions I have for the second half of this. King of Swords here, they're going to cut us off. So they're going to threaten us with not sending products over. So my next question was, has China decided to simply absorb the tariffs rather than retaliate aggressively? I'm going to say that's a no. I don't think that they're going to absorb these tariffs. I don't think they have any interest in that. Let's see, one card, Tower. No, they're not going to do that. They're not going to absorb the tariffs. Is China trying to stall so that they can get further into the first year of the Trump second presidency? Are they trying to stall? They just don't have it. Looking for long range plans. Six of Wands, Nine of Cups. So one of the things that they want to do is they want to limit the goods here. All right, so supply and demand. Supply and demand creates very interesting pricing structures. Everyone learned that in school. Lower the supply, higher the demand, higher the pricing. So I do think that they are under the impression that they can price interest in a higher fashion, but I don't think that this is going to work. We have that magician in reverse there. We just saw that. Let me pull him back out. We have this magician in reverse. So, the idea of we've got what you want and we're going to withhold it until you create a structure that's going to be more beneficial for us or return to the beneficial cooperation that we had previously. I just don't think that we can do it. Me personally, I am sick of cheap clothing coming into my country. I am sick of cheap products that fall apart the minute you touch them. I really don't need another plastic item in my house that is masquerading as metal. I just don't need it. I just don't need it. In the meantime, the chair that I am sitting in, which I love, it's probably made in China. The desk that I am using, I think is Korean made. So, I do think that they're going to attempt to do that. But what does that do? That forces manufacturing to come back to the United States. We'll talk about that in the second half with Trump. It takes some time to get manufacturing up and running, but will that be a boom? That's going to be one of the questions we ask. So, is China currently making covert deals with other nations to weaken U.S. leverage? This is an interesting question. And as I've said before, time and time again, Vladimir Putin, Russia, they have a very interesting economic structure in that country. They don't produce a lot of things for export. They just don't. They do. Vladimir Putin has a very, very close relationship with Xi Jinping. I've said this before. They have very similar origin stories. They have very similar experiences in their lives. So, being the leaders of countries in the East, and I am saying that Russia is an Eastern superpower. It is a superpower. I'm curious if maybe they do have some deals going on. So, is China making covert deals with other nations to weaken the U.S. leverage in this situation? Three of Wands, they're having some trouble finding partners on this. Now, someone had said, I said the other day that I believe China was going to bring products through a surrogate of sorts, a surrogate country of sorts. And someone told me in the comments they had been doing that, I believe, through Vietnam, and got caught doing it. I do think that they're looking for a surrogate to bring products through, but they're having some trouble. Why are they having trouble doing that? Judgment. Nobody wants to get caught up in this. Nobody wants to have their country punished for going through the China route, or being part of the China route. And I am getting psychically that a lot of those countries are going, well, why would we let you manufacture there? We could maybe manufacture some of this here. So interesting. Let me roll my questions up. I got a list of questions here. Is China planning to escalate the tension? So right now, they're not too happy. So are they going to escalate the tensions between our two countries? Is that going to happen? Bada boom, bada bing, bada boom. Are they going to escalate? Again, I'm going to double down. I think they're going to say, we are not going to send products to you. We are going to send them to other markets. And, here's the thing. Do they send their products to another country that is in need of revenue and sell them above board legitimately to them, and then they export to us? Do we get a double down kind of tariff if it says made in China, distributed by blah 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 country? Maybe we get a double down on that, but maybe we're going to see some kind of attempt to do something like that. I don't know if they're going to have many partners. This is not a question on my list, but is this going to increase the likelihood of a move on Taiwan? A move on Taiwan, let's call it that. Is this going to increase the likelihood of a move on Taiwan? I do think it increases the likelihood of a move on Taiwan, because then this becomes a different fight with the United States. This becomes the reason why we don't have Chinese products coming into the United States. I think having a dispute in Taiwan, doing a little back and forth with us, I think is going to be interesting. We'll have to read on that again later. I'm trying to keep this particular reading sticking to the topics. I have a lot of questions. So, how much economic damage is China really experiencing from the tariffs? This is versus what they are showing publicly. How are they being affected right now economically because of this? Boom. The Hermit in reverse. Boom. Crossing it by the devil. We were a great market for them. So this is like the substance dealer. You know, we were a great market for them. They were pouring stuff into our country. I wonder how Jeff Bezos is going to do, because he's got all those warehouses full of stuff. But I do think they are experiencing some economic damage, but it's not entirely evident yet. So there's going to be more time. More time will show more damage. So does China's leadership believe they can outlast this tariff war? Do they believe that they can outlast the tariff war without making any major concessions? Do they believe? What are they talking about around the table? There's a lot of yelling around the table. Three of Pentacles. There are a lot of different ideas, a lot of different opinions there. You know, a great deal of the conversation is about the sovereignty of China, and do we need the US market? There are some people that are like, absolutely yes. And there are some that are saying, absolutely not. We can sell to Europe. We can sell to Great Britain. We can sell to the countries that are here in the East. We can do that. You know, I think there's a lot of conflict here. China's leadership is not on the same page at the moment. The one thing that they agree upon is that the tariffs are damaging. It is the level of damage that this will cause economically down the road that is a discussion. There are some that are optimists and saying, oh, well, we'll just kind of pivot and work through this. And there are some that are saying this is absolute devastation. We're going to be in serious trouble with this. So that is interesting. So now let's switch over to part 2. We're going to talk about Donald Trump. I'm going to keep this as one video, so it's going to be a little bit longer, but you guys deserve it. You guys are awesome. Winky wink. I didn't mean that like as this like snarky thing. I think you guys are awesome. Let me take a sip of water. All right. So what is Trump's primary goal? Or is Trump's primary goal to force China into a major trade agreement before the end of the year? Is he looking to crush them with a trade agreement? 3 of Pentacles. No. He wants to stop the dependence on cheap foreign-made products from China. That's what he wants. There is a market for some of the things that they produce, but he doesn't want everything. He doesn't want all of our hangers made there. He doesn't want all of our plastic cups made there. He doesn't want all of our shower curtains made there. I'm talking about all plastic products. He doesn't want all of our bookcases made there. This lovely bookcase was made in China. Ta-da! He wants to bring back manufacturing. He wants to make us leaders again in manufacturing. I've talked about the auto trade, and I do think that he is going to create another Detroit in Mexico with some of the auto plants that are already there. I think he's going to go in there, upgrade them, make a deal with Mexico. Why not bring back manufacturing to the United States? Why not do that? We're going to start to do that with and you know, with the plastic products, he's going to do something very interesting with recycle. with recycling plastic products. He's going to have a very innovative approach to that. So stick around for that. That is actually a future cast. I'm going to do future cast. So again, what I just said is that I do think Trump is going to do something very interesting with plastics here in the United States and with manufacturing plastic products. I think he's going to do something very, very neat. So is he trying to isolate China economically rather than just negotiate tariffs? So right now, China really is the superpower that the United States is going head to head with. So is he trying to isolate them and knock them back as a superpower? Is he trying to maintain the mantle of superpower, United States, China, take a back seat? We got Nine of Swords. He did not want to see them rise up as an economic superpower in the world. He does not want to see the Chinese economy become the world economy in the way that the United States economy is the world economy. He doesn't want to see that. And with the way that the market is behaving, and I told everyone we were going to see a market dip. I thought it was going to be in February or March, but I knew we were going to see a significant market dip. We're seeing all this wildness right now, but I did predict that by May, we are going to see stabilization and the market is going to be robust. At this filming, the market did rally and was doing some good things. So I am going to do another market analysis for you guys, I believe for Saturday. I'll drop that video possibly Sunday. So you guys can pay attention to that. And we're just going to look at the macro view of the stock market and where that's going to go, what I get psychically. So stick around for that. I will have that coming up. So here, the concern is that if the world goes the way of China, we wind up not being able to produce anything. This also makes the Mark Zuckerberg videos that I just did about selling access to Facebook for an open AI product that the Chinese government was developing or Chinese company was developing. Chinese government's involved in all Chinese business. So how many times can I say Chinese in the next 5 minutes? So it makes it all the more significant. So if you haven't watched those videos, there's a 3-part video stream that I did. You can watch those. I did it on Tuesday, Wednesday, and today. So check it out. But here, he is looking, Trump is looking at the way that countries rose to the fore. So the United States rose to the fore economically at some time after being established as a country. Prior to that, it really was the British Empire that was kind of running the world and running the way money works. So his intent is to preserve us as the financial foundation of the world. So I get that. Now I've been saying that we can anticipate another currency coming in, which is going to be kind of a safety net. We're going to have like 2 kinds of currency, and I do think that that's a digital currency, Bitcoin, Dogecoin, those kinds of things. So I think that that is coming presently. I do think we're going to see that. Let me just move that. Okay, and so is Trump using tariffs as a way to weaken China's manufacturing dominance long term? This is an easy one. I think we've already answered this, but I do have questions that I list out before my readings. So yes, he is trying to do that. Now, I think we are going to have some trouble. Again, Futurecast. I think we are going to have some trouble selling the dream of manufacturing as a great way of life. Everyone kind of looks at it in this digital world that we live in as like manufacturing, working in a factory, something like that, as akin to like going into the coal mines. And I don't think that it's an easy sell for a Generation Z, or even a millennial generation. We were promised the Jetsons. We were promised Meet the Robinsons, this very futuristic kind of world. So going into a factory and working on an assembly line or something like that seems very unappealing and the antithesis of a Kardashian kind of lifestyle. No one really wants to do that. Everyone wants to be a bazillionaire. Everyone wants to be a rap superstar, and or a psychic superstar on YouTube. Uh, so I do think that the manufacturing, uh, uh, I think it's going to be a tough sell. I think it's going to be a tough sell. So we're really going to have to see how that shakes out, how that's packaged and sold to a generation that really does want to drive a G wagon and be covered in diamonds and pearls and grills and whatnot. So everybody wants to be a blonde. Everyone wants to be a blonde. So I do think that that's going to be interesting. The attempt to weaken China's manufacturing dominance is also very much dependent on the spirit of America and the population wanting to contribute to the American success story. So, and it is a comeback story. It is a comeback story right now. So, ba, 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 ba. So is Trump willing to cause temporary pain to US consumers if it means a bigger win over China? If it means a bigger win over China, how does he feel about giving us a little bit of economic pain, a little bit of pain? Three of Cups. He knows it's not going to be great, but the gains will be great. So, if we're struggling a little bit, if we are paying a little bit more, if products are not available, which really this Three of Cups is about excess and abundance and great things that are coming toward us. When it's in reverse, we really don't have that abundance and things that are coming toward us. We have more of a dearth of products. But the promise here is that things will be wildly successful. We will be dazzled by choices. We will be able to kind of set the pace and the standard for products and manufacturing here in the United States. So, is it going to work right now? Like, what is the plan? What is the plan? 10 of Cups, Queen of Swords, Knight of Pentacles. This is a cool thing. So, he's going to say, look, we are letting money roll out the door. We are allowing this to happen. We are watching our manufacturing be taken over by another country who is charging us out the wazoo for it. If we cut that off, we can start to develop, but we got to roll up our sleeves. We've got to get to work. This is do it for your country. Your country wants you to. I know I just quoted a Grease 2 song, but let's do it for our country. Our country wants us to. So all of a sudden, I want a bomb shelter in my backyard. So will Trump secretly offer China backdoor deals despite hang on. So, will Trump secretly offer China backdoor deals despite his public hardline stance? So, is he going to let some manufacturing come in? Is he going to do that? Is he going to negotiate this? Let's go, Donald Trump. Wheel of Fortune, 4 of Swords, 2 of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles, 1, 2, 3. Absolutely, positively, yes, but I don't think that they are going to respond to it very well. I think they are going to tell us to go pound sand. I think they're going to tell Donald Trump to go pound sand. I think they don't believe in the hardiness of the plan that he has in place to bring manufacturing back. So, and I have some questions about it too. Like, I'm not like, woohoo, yeah, let's go all go work in factories. I don't think we're gonna see the enthusiasm that we need to see, or I don't think that the enthusiasm for manufacturing is as evident as we need it to be. I think this is going to be a really, really hard sell for him. But maths. So if you spell it out in math, if you say, hey, you were paying blah, blah, blah for this product. I mean, and how do you compete with, I got a bunch of hair clips from Amazon, Chinese made, and I got like 10 of them for like $4, like can we beat that here in the United States and still pay our people a living wage? I don't know. It's gonna be a tough sell. The math is gonna have to math. But is he going to offer them some kind of concession? Well, you can manufacture this kind of product, and we'll buy it from you, and we'll adjust that tariff. And I think they're going to tell us, no, we're not going to do it. Nope, not doing it. Not doing it. We'll keep our business to ourselves. So that might have to be an okay kind of thing. Is Trump's endgame economic devastation for China? Is it economic devastation? Does he want to see China fail? He wants them to not be a superpower. So is that a failure? Yes. I think he does want to see them not be an economic superpower, not be a leader in the world in the way that the United States, and he is a leader in the world. So does that mean devastation? Yeah, but it's not the kind of devastation. He wants them to take a back seat. Take a back seat because America, Coca-Cola is always going to be the boss. We're always going to be the boss. We will not be taken down off that seat anytime soon. So I think that is really his end game, is really that. So let's see. What is the likely outcome of this tariff strategy? What is the likely outcome? We're talking about right now, energy right now. It is 10:38 on April 17th, 2025. Let's go. Let's go. What is our likely outcome? What is our likely outcome? Three of Pentacles. That's negotiation, guys. It's going to take a little bit of time. Death, we're not going to change a whole lot. We are going to Two of Wands, Two of Wands. There's going to be a manufacturing cooperative agreement that comes up. Another future cast, guys. So once upon a time in the United States, there was something called cottage industry. So people would make just, let's say, a pair of boots. So one person would tan the leather, one person would make the laces, one person would make the soles, and that product would go from house to house or place to place in construction. I think we're going to look at something like that. I think we're going to see more of a cooperative production with China. I think he's going to say, look, you can't corner the market and sell us this $2 piece of plastic. We're going to have to work together on this one. So let's figure out a plan. And I do think he's going to do that. So there will be great negotiations probably through the rest of the year. We're looking at this Five of Wands here. It is in the upright. So I do have some hope about it. And Two of Wands here, also very, very hopeful card. Three of Pentacles in the middle. Listen, there's a lot of money around the world. The world is a very big place. We can all make a lot of money. Let's not dicker about who is going to make the most. Let's see if we can do this together, uplift all countries, stop an economic crash worldwide, and let's go. Now, on the Chinese side, I do think that they want an economic crash in the United States so that they can come to the fore as a dominant currency and economy in the world. But I don't think that is really a possibility worldwide. I just don't think that it is. I think it's going to be the blooming of China and kind of the failure of other countries. They just don't have the interest or the ability to prop up the rest of the economies in the world as the United States does. So being a melting pot, we have kind of a larger world view, and the intention is to kind of keep things humming along as possible. So I hope you guys like this reading. I hope you found it interesting. Again, I apologize because I had my own financial stuff going on, trying to get my documents out to and sorting some things out with my my accountant, who is fantastic. Chef's kiss. I love my accountant. We just had some things that should have been dealt with while I was away, but I was away. So here we go. So hopefully I will not have to deal with our government in any kind of official capacity any further until next year. So thank you so much. If you like this video, let me know, hit the like button. But I want to know your opinion. I know everyone has a very, very strong opinions on the tariffs. And I have said firmly from the beginning, I do think that this new tariff structure that Trump presented last week was a negotiating tactic. I think he was looking to cut a better deal with the other countries that we are doing business with and to get those reciprocal tariff structures in place so that it's more of a fair exchange of goods and trade. I think that that makes a lot of sense. I think that when you do the math, again, math is math. When you do the math on it, it does seem that the United States was paying a lot to support countries, whether it is after a world war, after a disaster, something like that. It does seem that that's a little bit long in the tooth, and maybe it's time to stop doing that. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. I'm working on content all day today. I am also working on my 5 courses, my 5 mini courses that are going to hopefully be available by Saturday so that you can do them at your leisure. They're going to be self-driven drip courses over a number of days. We're going to have shadow stuff with reversals. We're going to make a nice and easy reversal class. When I teach reversals, I teach them 6 up, 3 up and 3 down. But this is going to be a real basic reversal course so that you guys can understand how flipping the cards will affect your readings. I'm also going to do the court. The court is almost done. We love the court. We'll also have a psychic class. So we'll talk about the clairs and some neat stuff, building some spreads of your own and some other great stuff. So I hope to see some of you guys in the academy. I'm going to let the academy know. I have a lot of students in there right now. So approaching 100. So you guys are going to get a blast out email pretty soon as some of the classes are done. There'll be a bundle option. It's going to be great for you guys. So I will see all of you in the future. Thank you so much. Ta-ta for now.